Hello and welcome to another What Sold video. This is everything that sold for me on my not live selling platforms. So for this video, it will be Etsy and eBay for the week of January 19th to January 25th. Scoot over here and I'll share with you my one Etsy sale. Again, I am cross-posting. I'm trying to cross-post at least once a day using Vendu. And it is finally starting to work, it seems. I sold this vintage 90s American Classics Colebrook leather jacket. I picked this up at the bins. I've had it in my car in my death pile for a really long time, and because I'm trying to demolish my death pile, I finally got around to list it. Sold within 2 weeks of me listing it, so that's pretty awesome. But again, I knew it was a good pickup when I picked it up. It was super soft leather. It did have paint splatters on it, but I was able to get all of those out using my angleless cleaner and a fingernail, just like lightly scratching at it and then like rubbing it clean. It was fine. I'm guessing that's why no one else picked it up. Also because, you know, it's a heavy leather jacket. Again, I don't know why. It was perfect, other than it just required just a little bit of work. And you see it sold for $65. Now, my Etsy store is set up to where if the item is more than $35, it's free shipping, but I just worked that into the price of the item. So I had budgeted $15 to ship the item, but it didn't cost that much to ship because I didn't have to go as far as I thought it might have to. Like, I try to like budget it for the furthest possible place to go in the United States or Alaska, Hawaii, or whatever. But it went pretty close, so I made $40 off of this because, again, I got it at the bins. So this is a great sale, and it should be motivation for me to continue listing for my death pile. It's still, you know, slow slog. Miss Moxie, of course, is going to have to move here. Here she is, because I'm going to switch over here so I can talk about eBay. Share with you my eBay sales. The first item is actually an item from my parents. I know it says women's on here, but it wasn't a women's shirt, it was a men's shirt. And I know that because this is my dad's shirt. And I thought about keeping it, but the arms are too short for me. And I put women's large because of the measurements of the item. It would fit a modern woman in the large size before it would fit a modern man in a large size. Also, the style is not something that modern men are drawn to, unless they're like, you know, a vintage hipster, in which case, awesome. But I figured marketing this as a women's item overall would sell it better, and I was proven correct. It sold for my full asking price of $19.87, which is probably more than what it cost when my dad bought it in the 70s. But Dad, thank you, and Mommy, thank you very much. This is a thank you to Jim. Jim purchased this item for me after I listed it in one of my demolishing my death pile videos. Or was it when I posted the video about me picking this up? Either way, hello Jim. Thank you very much. I hope you've received the book by now, and I really appreciate you supporting me. This was the Vintage 50s Tobacco Road by Caldwell. I hope you get a chance to read it. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that you helped me save a vintage book from the landfill. Another 90s piece going out. This is a Worthington piece. I did have to repair this. It had a bunch of beads on it. I just had to stitch like one bead down and tie down a loose end. Other than that, this was perfect. I am perfectly okay doing that. I have a bunch of the seed beads in black especially, and also the long skinny ones. I forgot what they're called. But I have a nice little sewing box that has all kinds of little doodads and stuff. I like doing it. It makes me happy. Again, you guys know, those of you that have been here a while understand that part of the reason why I love reselling is that I like keeping things out of landfill. I want things to continue to be used until they literally cannot be used anymore. So sold for $15, beautiful piece, really happy it went on to a new home. This is from a buyer. I'm not sure if they are a viewer. They are a repeat buyer because of the fact that I do sell a lot of vintage and I also sell a lot of books. I do have people that have saved my store that are not viewers, that have just found me organically through eBay and just keep buying from me. And I feel like That's really humbling, and that's what you want as an eBay seller, is to provide good stuff for people to where they want to keep coming back. This is from that big buy I did where I was at the restore at the right place, right time. I got this for 10 cents, sold it for $5. You know, it took a while to sell, so when they sent me an offer for $5, I saw it was a repeat buyer. I was like, you know what? They're gonna pay for shipping. This is one of those ones where I also switched from like the shipping was included to it being separate. I was like, I paid 10 cents for this. Yes, you can have the book. So happy that this sold. This I got a note from where it was, someone told me like, thank you so much for like making sure to say it was a book. I'm guessing there are tape cassettes, and then there's also VHS tapes for this exact thing, Handbook of Watch and Clock Repairs, where it's like a video that you watch. But this is the original book from 1974. It's an instruction manual with like diagrams and stuff on how to fix watches. And someone said, thank you so much for one, stating clearly that it was a book, and then also for offering this at a reasonable rate. So $14.87. They said that this is one of their new hobbies that they're picking up, and they look forward to getting more in depth into it. Again, niche books like this, I love that. This is from the big vintage buy that I did that I still have probably 100 pieces to list of it. I bought like 400 pieces of vintage clothing, over 400 pieces of vintage clothing, to be honest, for $100. I paid about $1/4 a piece. They're all selling between $15 and $45 to $50. So amazing sale, amazing sale, except for the fact that it's just been a lot to process and a slow process because I'm slow. Sold for $18. These skirts, they are slow sellers, but they do sell. And as I mentioned before, for these vintage skirts, that if one sells, normally one will sell to a buyer and then they get it and then they realize that one, it fits them and that they like it and that like I'm a good seller, and then they'll come back and buy more of them, is what I've noticed. This is an international sale. It's going through the global shipping program, so I'll never see this again, which is also great. You guys have already seen this in a previous video when I showed listing stuff for my death pile. These were gifts from Melissa, so Melissa, thank you. She knows I love selling vintage stuff, and so these sold within 2 weeks also of me listing them, which is amazing. They're vintage 60s Scotchgard plaid polo shirts, not polo shirts, button front shirts. And I know they're from the 60s because of the tag inside. Scotchgard, if you don't know what Scotchgard is, it's originally was a spray that you spray on stuff to repel water and stains, and it was invented in the 50s, and then they started to release a line of clothing in the 60s, like 1960, 1961 is when they started releasing the clothes, and then the clothes I think stopped existing, I think in the 70s. I just know personally that the clothes are from the 60s. Like they're normally from the 60s to the early 70s if you see the Scotchgard branded clothing. And if you wonder how I know this, it's because my brain just absorbs information and it stays there forever. So the more like you're interested in historical clothing, vintage clothing, you just start to pick stuff up. This is one of those, again, this was free to me, made like $45, $50 off of this. Amazing. So Melissa, again, thank you. This is Mysteries of Silver Peak. I've talked about how before I like picking up these guidepost books when I find them for really cheap. These I got at the book bundler buy I did, the big warehouse buy that I did. And I actually found a whole box of these books. And what I like to do is to lot them up by the same series. And when I get 3 or more in the same series, I list them together. These are all from the same series. You see, they're not sequential. That doesn't matter. They're not sequential books. They're like little episodic cozy mysteries that have religious themes to them. And I bought and sold these so many times. They're generally good sellers for me, but I do not recommend paying up for the books. There are some of the specific series where individual books will sell for like $15, but most of them sell for around this in a lot. 15, 18, again, I'm well into the profit for that buy, so this is all profit to me. This is a pair of Under Armour shorts. I actually bought these for myself because of the fact that I am more fit because I'm trying to get better from my depressive bout. they don't fit anymore. So I sold them. They're sold for $6. Again, I bought and wore these multiple times. I actually got these, I think at the bins. So I have very little into them and they still sold. So overall, big win for me. This is a pair of Olakais. I actually bought these for myself at the thrift store. I paid $5 for them. Moxie just farted. Oh, that's odious. My goodness. And now she left because that's what cats do. It's disgusting. And I'm gonna have to sit here in it now and finish this video. Anyway, I bought these because I was very excited that I finally found a pair of Olakais. Normally I only find men's Olakais, but I found a pair of women's Olakais in my size. And I tried them. I tried wearing them once and I did not like them. I like rainbows for the little thin thong sandals. I liked rainbows. Courtney recommended rainbows like a long time ago, and then someone gave me a pair. Carolyn gave me a pair. Ernie and Carolyn like donated a bunch of their stuff, and Carolyn and I have the same size shoe apparently, and she had a pair of rainbows in there, and those are my now sandals. So Carolyn, thank you. I don't know if she watches these, but if Ernie does, he'll let her know. But I love them, but I was hoping for an Olakai because my partner really likes Olakai shoes. I'm giving you too much exposition again. Sold for $25. I made like 20 bucks. Yay on me. This is also a thank you to Melissa. This is a Tahari piece. This is a Tahari piece. I love buying and selling linen. Melissa knows that, so she set some of it aside for me. This sold for $17.88, and again, it was free to me. So Melissa, again, thank you. This is a book I picked up at the bins. I do like picking up cookbooks when I'm at the bins because the buy cost is really cheap. At my bins, it's 50 cents for hardcovers, 25 cents for paperbacks. So I can get a lot of books really cheap, which is why I am trying really hard not to go to the bins. Because there have been times where I have filled up 2 full carts full of books. And that is why I am at the death pile situation I am at now. But anyway, paid 50 cents for this, sold for $7, and again, the buyer paid for shipping. This was a book I thought about keeping for myself, but I decided to let it go. Another one of those teacups and saucers. I literally had these for a year and a half. Did not sell. As soon as one sells, they just have kept selling. And that I've noticed with variation listings or multi-quantity listings, that first sale is always super hard to get, but as soon as you get that first sale, it just keeps going. So sold for $9.87 and the buyer paid $8.95 for shipping. This is a Magnolite saucepan. I will pick up vintage cookware when I find it. It does actually sell, depending on what it is. I knew that this one would sell. I paid $6 for this and it sold for $18. This is a book I've had for a while. Again, this didn't sell and whatnot. I offer up most of the science fiction, fantasy, and horror that I find up on Whatnot first. And then if it doesn't sell there, then I list it on eBay. This was a brand new book, so I actually just straight up listed this to eBay because it was in new condition. And this one was from that, where I was at the right place at the right time. Again, like 100 books, roughly 100 books, or like 20% of the books I picked up, 25% of the books I picked up from that restore buy were all brand new books, and everything else was vintage science fiction and fantasy in pre-owned condition. Sold for $7.87. This was one where it was free shipping. So basically, like, they paid retail price, but paid free shipping. So instead of going to like a bookstore buying it, they had it shipped directly to them. I paid 10 cents. I'm happy. This is Beowulf. This is a Barnes & Noble classic. It is a hardcover book. Sold for $2.47 and the buyer paid for shipping. Another book that once I changed it to paid shipping, it sold. I don't know. I guess people just don't want to do math. This is a Banana Republic dress. It is a size 0. I know a lot of resellers don't like picking up the itty bitty sizes. I will do that if I believe in the item. I actually picked this up at the bins, and the reason I picked it up is because I loved the dress. If this dress was in my size, I would have kept it, but I am not a size 0, nor do I ever want to be a size 0. That would be way too thin for me at my 5'9" frame. I've been, like I said last time, I've been a size 2. That was already too skinny for me. But this was a beautiful wool blend, very classic silhouette dress, and it had pockets, which, come on, every woman wants a dress with pockets. This was a very flattering silhouette, great material, and didn't sell Whatnot for $2 because I'm the only one apparently who wants to resell size 0 dresses. But Karen looks great on it, made it look great, and somebody bought it for $12. So it moved on to a new home. And I'm really happy that that dress didn't end up in the landfill because I thought it was beautiful. But that is the last item that sold. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, I'm so glad that I have been able to keep my goal about getting back to regular upload schedule. I do believe having a weekly video that I definitely have to get out is helping me do that. Like, no matter what, you're getting this video on Wednesday, this What Sold video on Wednesday, and I am now between my normal 10 to 15 videos a month. So I really appreciate those of you who have been watching them. I'm also just really appreciative that, you know, there are people that still want to watch me even though I was gone for like a few months. So thank you very much. I really appreciate also all the kind comments you guys have been leaving, commiserating with me about both chronic illness and depression. It does mean a lot, and that's also why I'm really vocal about it, is because I know how isolating and lonely that can be, and reselling in general, especially if you're working for yourself full time, is also isolating and lonely. So thank you very much. I appreciate all of you, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye.